Okay, this is a brief video on how to balance equations. Let's start at the beginning with elements and compounds. Elements are the simplest way of expressing any material. They can appear as either atoms, such as magnesium and carbon, so they appear on their own, or as molecules, such as H2 or O2, hydrogen and oxygen. Compound is when two or more of these elements are chemically bound together. For example, if you burn magnesium and oxygen, you've got magnesium oxide. If you burn hydrogen and oxygen, you have hydrogen oxide or water. One oxygen, two hydrogens. Now, a chemical reaction is when two elements or compounds, atoms or molecules, react together to form one or more new compounds or elements. For example, magnesium plus oxygen. If you burn magnesium in oxygen, you get magnesium oxide. Different. This is a compound. These two are elements. Hydrogen is burnt in oxygen and you get water. Methane is burnt in oxygen and you get carbon dioxide and water. This is a compound, this is an element, that's a compound, that's a compound. Now, conservation of mass is a rule of chemistry which basically says on this equation A plus B equals C plus D goes to C plus D. These two sides, imagine this is a scales, these two sides must be the same mass. So A and B must be the same mass as C plus D. And we can see this by looking at the mass numbers. So from magnesium, for example, has a mass number of 24, oxygen has a mass number of 16, hydrogen has mass number 1, carbon has a mass number of 12. So if these appear on both sides, then if you add them up, they should be the same. Okay, so magnesium plus oxygen, as we've done before, goes to magnesium oxide. So we know that magnesium is 24, oxygen is 16, and if you add those two together, then magnesium oxide comes to 40. Fabulous. 24 plus 16 equals 40. Tick. Lovely. However, sometimes it can go a bit astray. For example, A plus B goes to C. Hydrogen plus oxygen goes to water. So hydrogen plus oxygen goes to water. 1 plus 16 equals 18. No. It doesn't work. So we can see we've got an atom there, and a molecule there. So something is wrong. Hydrogen and oxygen appear naturally as molecules, not atoms. So this is different. So how it should be is a molecule of hydrogen, H2, plus a molecule of oxygen, O2, goes to H2O. That's how it appears naturally. However, even this is not working out, because we've got two hydrogens on one side and two oxygens on that side, and two hydrogens on one side and one oxygen on one side. So there's got to be a way of making this work. Now, chemistry is a bit like baking. If you're baking a cake, you've got flour plus sugar plus butter plus eggs, and it comes to a cake. However, you don't do it all at the same quantity. You need, for every 2 of flour, you need 2 of sugar, 2 of butter, and 1 egg. Okay, so 2 ounces of flour, 2 ounces of sugar, 2 ounces of butter, and 1 egg. Mix those together and you get a cake. So what we've done, and to double it, you don't put a little 2 down there. You don't put a little 2 down there, you put a 2 at the front, because you've got twice the quantity of flour, twice the quantity of sugar, twice the quantity of butter, and we'll just stay with 1 egg. And that's what you get with a cake. Now, if you look at this with chemistry, hydrogen, H2, plus O2 goes to H2O. So we've got 2 hydrogen, 2 oxygen, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. So what do? We just add another hydrogen there. So we've got 2 hydrogens there, so that becomes 4. That is 2. And then we add another molecule of that. Don't forget we can't split these. So that becomes 4, and that becomes 2. So we've got 4 on one side, 2 on there, 4, 2. And instead of doing hydrogen over the top like that, you've got a 2 there, and you put a 2 at the beginning. So let's do a different one. Burning magnesium. So there's 1 magnesium there, and 2 oxygens there. and it goes to 1 magnesium, 1 oxygen. So what do? You add another magnesium, so just like 2 spoonfuls of magnesium oxide, so that becomes 2 and 2. And you add another bit of magnesium, so this is just physical quantities, there's nothing different here. So you've got magnesium and magnesium, 2, oxygen, 2, 2 and 2, so that looks balanced. So we have magnesium, magnesium, oxygen, magnesium oxide. These are physical quantities, and you've balanced that out as 2 magnesium, 2 oxygen, and 2 magnesium oxide. Balanced. Okay, now it's your try.